Hey, it's Jenna from The Last Stitch. Today I will take you on a mini tour of my new sewing corner. Yes, I have two actually. One where I make all my sewing, and this is a new one where I do all my cutting and pattern storage, fabric storage, all that. So let's take a look. This is my proudest accomplishment in my new cutting room corner. This is a cutting table made out of 3 Ikea shelves, and I found the hack on a site called Ikea Hackers, and there will be a link in the description section where you find how this is done. And I did a modification of it. It has 3 shelves. I think they are called Expedit Kallax from Ikea, and they are put together, and I put wheels under so I can push it around like this, because as you can probably see, this is a very tiny corner, so I have to push it like this in order to get around and have access to everything when I'm cutting fabric. So it's a little bit of a hassle. Anyways, now we're going to just dive into this. It has many nifty little functions. Let's look at this first. I put 4 drawers here where I store stuff like scissors, rulers, pattern weights, tissue paper, all that kind of stuff that is necessary. And underneath I have many boxes. This one is actually just fabric scraps, because they're pretty good to keep, right? Because you never know when you need to test something on a piece of knit or a piece of woven fabric. So now I have one place for all those scraps that I can use later on. And on the other side there are obviously more shelves, and here I have all my pattern drafting books, my pattern magazines, and I also have, this one is a bit fun because I have actually saved all my pattern magazines, German pattern magazines from the 80s when I first began to learn how to sew. So we can look inside these and have a little bit of fun. As you can see, these magazines do show some wear and tear, but actually I think quite a few styles do have aged well, and some obviously have not. Let's see if I can find, yeah, this blouse I actually made when I was, I think I was 15 or 16, and I actually managed to find the exact same fabric, so I was really proud of these. These were my first Wells pockets, and well, I was probably drowning that style because, as you can see, it's very oversized. And we can see if we can find another piece of, yeah, these I remember. These are riding trousers, jodhpurs with, you know, puffs in around the tie. So I made these in a dark green wool fabric with buttons on the side. I love that pattern. I'm glad I kept it. I think it's really stylish look. Yeah, and this, oh, this is construction. So I was actually able to sew these together pretty well, so I was pretty proud of myself. That was the past, but I am still very much a big fan of German pattern magazines, and now I do collect Burda styles, so I have these in binders too, that I have sorted for time periods. I mean, it's not an excellent sorted, but I have plastic envelopes for the magazine, for the pattern, so I collect them this way. And I have my current Burda set collection goes from 2004 up to today. Well, I have purged a few, and well, not everyone. I won't purge anymore now because I still sew a lot of garments actually from those 2004 and 2005 issues. And the table is actually made out of Swedish steel that I have tainted to look a bit more like a dark oak and something like that. And on these I have 4 cutting plates. I wish I had one big one, but when I began using a rotary cutter, I only had money to buy small ones. So I began buying one, and then I bought another one, and then another one, until I had 4. And I custom sewed this table to match these 4 exactly. And because the surface is actually quite sticky, they do stay put quite well, and it's a huge relief comparing to all those years when I crawl around on the floor trying to cut my clothes. And well, I use the kitchen table too, but that's a bit too small, so this is excellent, the perfect height, the perfect width. I don't really need a big cutting table because I'm quite short. Alright, now we're on the other side of the cutting table, and here I have my pattern storage. I just recently did a pattern purge, so my pattern collection is now at the manageable size. It is sorted in alphabetic order, and I also have one box for my traced pattern. And the fourth box is where I store my ribbing, because as I sew a lot of knits, it's always good to have a big collection of nice ribs for necklines and stuff like that. Alright, now we have come to the end of my sewing corner, where I have a huge wardrobe, and in this I have some things regarding sewing. Well, let's take a look. Here are all my me-made dresses, or I'm lying because one of these dresses is not actually made by me, but all the other dresses that I own are actually made by me. So it was a big, I have such a crowded wardrobe. I have all my clothes in one wardrobe, and now with this big wardrobe I was finally able to move all my dresses to a special place, so that makes me very happy. And underneath here I have 4 drawers with my fabric collection. This one is actually the biggest right now, and these are all activewear fabrics that I have bought because it's so hard to find that when I find something I tend to buy quite a bit. So that's a big selection. And in my second drawer I have all my knits, so they're not too much. I've been pretty good with that, and I have plans for most of these projects. And in the third drawer I have my woven fabrics. As you can see, I have some Liberty Lawn, and this is a cotton that I actually bought in Helsinki just recently. Just a few little things, not too much. And on the last drawer, that's just sort of a collection of things. I have a big batch of organic cotton velour that I turn into leisure wear, and also I have some vintage bedsheets that I will turn into vintage looking bedding, because I also make my own bedding. So that was a little tour of my cutting room corner. If you want to see how my sewing room corner looks like, you can check out the video that I've done about that. And if you want to see how I built my Ikea Hack cutting table, you can also check out the blog post that I've done about this particular project. Links will be in the description section for both of these things. And if you're new to this channel, well, please subscribe, and well, take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye!